Hello, welcome to our webinar Result-Focused AI. I am Israel from asmag.com, and this webinar is organized by the Industrial Development Bureau, IDB, under Taiwan's Ministry of Economic Affairs. The Industrial Development Bureau is in charge of national industrial development tasks, providing services for Taiwan's various industrial segments. It is committed to leading Taiwan's industrial innovation, upgrading, and transformation, with the end goal of helping industrial players to improve productivity and international competitiveness. With artificial intelligence becoming a key trend, the IDB seeks to help industries transform and overcome any pain points that they have with artificial intelligence. And to achieve that, they introduced a very interesting dual development model that combines a top-down theme-based approach and also a bottoms-up needs-based approach. So what basically they're doing is that they link together industry associations and identify companies that have AI technology and encourage them to explore fields and industries in need of AI applications through guidance, different subsidy programs, and promoting empirical cases of our AI. This mechanism has resulted in many successful Taiwanese companies specializing in AI, and there's also a growing interest among users of security and IoT devices, especially in Asia, where it has big growth potentials in security and traffic enforcement, etc. In this regard, today we will have two Taiwanese companies, Ability and LILIN, that have the technology to meet user demands, and they will introduce how their AI solutions help solve client pain points. We have a very interesting panel of speakers today that represent the industry value chain. We will start with Patrick Lim from Ademco Security Group. Patrick is the Director of Group Strategy in Ademco, which is a large SI and security service provider present in 7 countries across APAC. We will continue with Mr. Steve Hu from Merit LILIN, a manufacturer of IP cameras, recorders and software, and Mr. Jonny Wu. He is the Director of the Imaging Systems Business Unit in Ability Enterprise. Ability is a large Taiwanese manufacturer with experience in the design and manufacturing of optical and electro-optical devices. I am happy to invite our first speaker of today, Patrick. Patrick is online. Hello, Patrick. How are you today?
Hello, good.
Good. Before we start, can you guess people from how many countries registered for this webinar?
I have no idea, but I think that my wild guess would be like 10?
30.
30?
30.
30.
30. 30.
Wow.
So we had a very good response to the registration from all over the world, and this only shows that AI is a topic that is very, very interesting for players in the security field. We have people all the way from Japan to the United States, and from Korea all the way down to Australia. So more than 30 countries registered for this webinar. And for those of our attendees that are not familiar with Ademco, you are a big security service provider. You have more than 400 staffs, 7 countries across APAC. And one of the reasons that we approached you was that you're one of the first companies already back in 2017 that started offering managed AI services and solutions, robotics and AI as a solution. And I wanted to ask you, based on your experience, where do you see AI in the security industry? People define it in many ways, and people define many things as AI. But what is your point of view as a system integrator, as someone who is client-facing?
Well, we started to realize that AI became a very important part of the security industry, and the security business for us was actually way before 2017. Even as early as 2010, we started to encounter projects across the region that requires very complex requirements. They have very, very complex requirements, and there was no current technology at the time that could address it. But those were very real operational problems that whether if you were talking about manpower or whether you're talking about technology, it was quite inadequate. And we had to do a lot of complex integration and complex development to try and even address very, very simple problems at the time. But later on, we realized that when AI started to grow, we realized that AI plays a very, very important part in the security industry in especially addressing complex issues. And we know that a lot of our customers is growing very fast, and the industry is growing very fast, and they have many, many type of complex challenges that they have to deal with. There is as long as you have humans involved, you have a lot of complex problems, not just protecting assets, not just protecting people, not just protecting staff, but protecting all of this working together for your business. And then when we look at AI, we realized that there was a lot of expectation, and we started to look at implement some of the stuff, and we realized the customers didn't understand what AI is about. And we ourselves at the time was trying to figure out what is actually AI. There is a lot of misconception. People think that a lot of times people think that it's magic, So we decided to educate the customers and things like that. And we come to, AI end of the day has two key aspects that we always tell our customers. And number one is that it requires a large amount of data, And the second one is that machine learning. So that is where these two aspects of AI is very, very important. You need to have a lot of data, and then you need to make the system learn and be able to assist you in the future. And what we also realized is that video surveillance was the number one driving force in the AI, even back then. Because one of our first projects in doing that involves AI was video analytics. But at the time, it was very new, and the machine learning part was very little. But it was acquiring a lot of data and giving us a lot of information that we never had before. And in recent years, we realized that facial recognition, AI in facial recognition, is becoming one of the biggest thing that have happened. Recently, with the pandemic and stuff like that, we see a lot of people deploying facial AI system that will be able to detect temperature, that will even be able to detect face with a mask on and things like that. Those are all learning abilities of AI. And what we also realized that in AI is that it helps us to bridge traditionally in our industry what we would always define as surveillance, access control, and then intrusion detection and others. But with AI, we sort of bridge a lot of things all coming together. Right now we have projects that is not just access control. We have people that use surveillance system, but while they are observing the movement and the travel pattern of people, they are at the same time trying to detect if this person is okay to come to be in that area, or to be okay if they come through that door. So that is bridging the two different domain, the traditional domain with AI itself. They're working together. So that is one thing. And then we are also discovering that there is a huge potential, because video being the one that generates the most information and data at this moment in time. But I think that in the industry, we are neglecting a bit on the data that's created by the other domains, the access control, and then the intrusion, the sensors and stuff like that. Those, I believe, as we go forward, we will see a lot of those data being used. And then whether it be internal data, entry, exit logs, hot zones, behaviors. And then we have also external data. So as we go forward with AI developing the next few years, we are going to extract a lot of external data source, being in new social media and other open sources. And that is going to bring the whole entire AI and security into the next level.
Very interesting. You mentioned that you have projects where AI is used to bridge access control, video surveillance, identity management. Can you share an example?
One of the biggest problems in the security industry is that you can never share the customer's name. But one of the example that a customer that I recently spoke to, they are a huge financial company, and their presence worldwide. And one of the problems that they face, I think he might be in the audience. He's like, so one of the pain point that they have was that to handle access control, and we know access control in the past was very predictable. You know, we issue out cards, credentials, and things like that. And I don't know, maybe it's a new generation of workers. People do not want to take physical cards, and they don't want to be token, and there is concern that they don't want to be touching anything contactless. So one of the biggest challenge that we had to tackle was that the organization doesn't want anything that allow the staff to contact anything, and yet they are trying to manage access control for thousands of staff across the world, and a lot of them might be traveling around. So there's all sorts of different access and identity issues that's happening across the globe for all the offices. And what we did was that we used a facial recognition system, but not only that, there has AI at the back that will be able to track if this person is correct in the right place at the right time. But beyond that, not just access control, we are also working towards, we are halfway working into a scenario whereby any sort of abnormal activity within the office will be detected. For example, you have a person that comes in that doesn't visit this floor all the time, but suddenly he visits it, and then, or he's loitering around the lift lobby. These are things that normally the information is captured by the civilian system, but the data is useless because nobody's watching it. You know, now AI takes over and they try to analyze all this information and then try to flag out abnormal situation for you. So you literally have a 24/7 security guard down there that is very intelligent, very alert all the time. So that is something that we are already working on at this moment, and not just with one customer, but with a few.
I see. Good. You mentioned that the AI in the security industry is already going for a few years, but where do you see the pain points? What is still missing? Technology vendors, the companies that drive the technology forwards, what do they still need to deliver to the market to make the adoption easier and faster?
I think we see this all the time in the security industry, and I think in all technology industry that happens. When there is a new technology that is emerging, we see a lot of expectation, and we see a lot of information floating around in the market. Some customers will come to me and tell me, say that, oh, I've been presented this AI, and when we look at it, it's just simple automation. So we tell them, say, no, this is not AI, this is just automation, you know. And so there is a lot of misleading information right now, and that maybe it's a matter of too much information. So education, I think, would be a big part of trying to drive that AI thing into the security market to make it useful. And when we talk to a lot of customers, when they finally realize what AI can do for them and what is the potential and possibilities that they could help them, they were very concerned, because AI is not a simple topic, and AI is a very new topic. And the perpetual problem with them is that, with the customers, is that they feel that I may not have the in-house expertise. You know, I don't have the people. I struggle right now even to just run my operation, obviously. And I'm always lacking resources. And now you want me to get an AI expert within my ranks. That's not possible. You know, who's going to run it for me? Who's going to do all this for me? You know, so there's a lack of in-house expertise, and it's a natural thing at this phase. So it is very complicated, and it's still very complicated, and it's very resource zapping to implement at this junction in time.
I see. So looking into the future, let's say the 2 or 5 years into the future, what do you see as the future of security NI? What can we expect? What kind of innovation? It can be either in technology or in business models. What do you think?
Well, you talked about just now our managed services, and why did we emphasize? Why did we change our business model to focus heavily on the managed services? We are a customer-facing system integrator. We are also a service provider. So our focus is always customer centric and market centric. And so we realize many of these problems cannot be solved by asking the customers to enhance their resources and try to catch up with things and this. The challenges that they face will not go away, and they would not be able to scale up immediately. So one of my customers who recently we spoke to actually told me this thing. He said, Patrick, I cannot run a command center like you guys. It's not sustainable. We did the math, we did all the resource planning, we realized that we will not be able to run that. And therefore for us, our managed services was actually to has an AI wrap around it. And what we feel that is going to happen in the next few years are some of the complexity that you deal with data. You know, there's going to be a more matured way and approach to handling data right now. As you know, right now, many countries have data privacy laws, and it's still in the early days. A lot of them are very protectionist. You know, they protect the data. No data can go out and things like that. I believe that as we move forward, there will be a more matured and more a better way to look at all this protection, and then there will be ways that we can harness all this data better. And I also believe that AI would be packaged and sort of commoditized, as later on the speakers might show. They will be packaged to be more easier for the customers to use it, you know, and not as a big complex system that nobody understands how it goes. You know, so it will be highly commoditized, and it will be purpose-built and packaged for the ease of deployment. So people will say, okay, I need to have this, I need to have a vehicle tracking, I need to have object identification, I need to have this, and pop, and they will just bolt on to what their requirements in their operation be. There will be open source. There's already open source and open library in the market that we can get AI algorithms from. It will be very managed services oriented, because customers want things to be ramped up fast. They cannot address a challenge which they are facing now and wait for 1 year before they can ramp up to address the issue. They need providers that already have AI services that's wrapped around there with AI to be able to deliver those services ASAP and in a very progressive manner if they want to, and to be able to control the cost and the resources that they are always have challenges with.
When you talk about customers, you are present in quite a few countries in APAC. So what can you tell us about the market itself? It can be from a geography point of view, which countries are showing more interest in managed services and AI. It can be from vertical, for example, pharma is very interested, or banking is very interested. What is the situation today?
Geographically, Asia is always a very vibrant place, and I think Asia has a very young population. That is why whenever they have a problem right now, they jump straight into it. Can AI solve that for me? And what can you do for me? So they are very eager to have that. So across Asia, I see that there is a lot of requirement, obviously from Singapore. There is a lot of requirement from, surprisingly, I see requirements from Vietnam. Vietnam is very aggressive with trying to get AI on board. We see that in Malaysia, we see that in the Philippines, and we see that in Indonesia. So almost every single country that we are in has that requirements for AI. And the difference is that some of them have different segments that they would have. Like for example, in Indonesia, we have a lot of inquiries from the retail side. But in all countries, we have a lot of inquiries from the financial sector. So normally the sectors and the segments that has a lot of compliance, when we realize that they have a lot of compliance audits, they're subjected to audits and ISO standards and stuff like that, they love it, because they deal with a lot of complex challenges that needs a very high alert level of meeting all the compliance, and you know it's always a very tough job for them, and they want to have an AI to be able to learn together with them and be able to meet all the conditions as far as security is concerned, to meet the compliance.
Excellent. Okay, so thank you so much for this, and stay on the line with us for the Q&A session in the end. I would now like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Steve Hu from Merit LILIN. LILIN is a manufacturer with over 40 years of experience. Is that right, Steve? You were founded when? 1980.
Yes, that's correct. We are the manufacturer from Taiwan. We have a 40 years experience.
Wow, that's a little younger than me. Okay, so good. So, and I understand that you will, Patrick mentioned Vietnam, and I understand that you also have a very interesting case study from Vietnam that you will talk about in your presentation.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so the floor is yours, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Okay. So, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, thank you, Israel. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Steve Hu from Merit LILIN. Today, I would like to show you about LILIN's solution for the near edge AI and the edge AI for traffic enforcement applications. Okay, so I wanna go for the system architecture. Also, the issue of the site, the solution, the successful story, and the case study of this application. So we introduce the edge AI, which the AI is running inside the camera SoC. And also we introduce another, we so-called the near edge server running Intel and NVIDIA GPU inside. So the system we implement for the site, which consists of TV wall solution, and also our VMS solution designed in-house, the camera, and the navigator recorders. So the system architecture we implement is so-called edge AI. The system is installed right next to the pole. Also, you are able to do a centralized server room design. So that's the system architecture. We use our in-house design VMS system, we so-called the control center, to management the video and also the TV wall. Okay, so we developed the AI for more than 3 years, started from number plate recognition. Also, we have a construction site AI data set, face detection, also fire and smoke detection. All these are run by AI. Currently, we have, I think we have 440 pictures for number plates. We have a large data set for solving customer issues. Okay, we started from number plate recognition. These are the countries we support. We have a few sites we deploy in Vietnam for number plate recognition, Malaysia. So also a few sites in Singapore. So we are very strong in number plate recognition. So we introduced few countries from for number plate recognition: Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India, also Thailand. For Thailand, we are able to recognize the states. Okay. So for this project, we install 3 cameras on the site for 1 intersection, 1 overview camera with the other 2 left lane and right lane cameras. So the issue was it's very difficult for one AI camera for the overview to detect traffic behavior, but the overview camera cannot see number plates. So we overcome the issue for linking the plates into 1 quad video. So the customer required to have a quad video, which has the overview and also the number plate of the, they want to have a full quad view before the violation and also after the violation. Also, they want another clear picture for the plates. Let me show you the video of the site. So basically, the camera is installed And then this case is running the red lights. Our software is able to generate the quad view automatically, and also with one clear number plate embedded to the quad view. So this video is before the violation, after the violation. So also the nighttime work perfectly. The camera is able to capture and recognize the number plate at night. Okay, so and then we also provide illegal turn left and also parking violation. So this show a motorcycle running on the left side, left lane, and the park there, which is illegal. And also this video show you the motorbiker, they running turn left illegally. Okay, so this give you a little few example of the case. Okay, so this is another, we use AI technology and behavior detection for illegal lane changes. So this gives you 4 snapshots at night. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the video here. So that's the requirement to have 4 snapshots. So we give the software for ticket automation. So we are able to generate the quad view and also the number plates embedded in the quad view. And also the other video for the violation. Once the person has a problem for or complain about the ticket, so they are able to give this video to the violation. Okay, so this is nighttime. This is the daytime turn left. Okay, and then this people interested about the successful rate. For 4 intersection, we are able to detect 109 times per day. So the successful rate is about 92%. And then the second topic we are going to show you is the Edge AI. I believe the near future will be the Edge AI for the Edge AI will be the next 2 or 3 years. So imagine there are right now most of the site we're running big graphics card, but however since LILIN released the Edge AI camera, I think this kind of a requirement will become less and less. I believe the Edge AI will be the future. Okay, so LILIN is going to release these 4 cameras, including PTZ. So this presentation, I showcase the very first time, show people we are going to release this camera having SoC built-in. Okay, so this is some of the application. Basically NDAA required. So it's SoC. The GPU is inside. Okay, some of the high definition, high speed shutter, and PIRIS is important. Very important to these cameras. Okay. And then the benefit for users is that once the Edge AI, we don't need a powerful PC anymore. So the AI camera is able to perform the AI detection, also open the door, close the door. Okay, so this is the recognition performance. We are able to recognize 6 frames per second for number plates. Okay, we also provide SDK for people to integrate. Okay, so this will be my this is about our Edge AI cameras. So as for the case study, we have a law enforcement case study, which is deployed. Customer satisfies the successful rate. Also for traffic management is also our concentration. Okay. So our location LILIN. For more information, so you can contact us at www.marilyn.com or contact Chris for more details. Yeah. Let me get back to you, Israel.
Thank you, Steve. That was very interesting. Stay on the line with us for the Q&A session. We have a few questions coming in from the audience about your solution. And now I'd like to invite our last speaker for the day, Mr. Jonny Wu from Ability Enterprise. Jonny, are you with us?
Yeah. Hello. Good afternoon, Israel.
Hello. Good afternoon. And I understand that the first case study that you're going to share with us is from Mexico.
Yep. An action movie.
An action movie. Great. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. And the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining the webinar today. My name is Jonny Wu from Ability. It's my pleasure to take this chance to share our AI deploy case today. I'm going to share 3 cases, and all these 3 cases are related to our everyday life. The most important thing is that to everyone understand how AI can help our life smarter and safer. So now let's move to the next page. Okay. Yeah, this is the page. Okay, today I'm going to share 3 cases. The first one is city law enforcement, and the second one will be smart traffic, and then a smart charging system. Now let's watch the video.
We are arriving. We have them in sight. We have them in sight.
Good job, guys.
What if families could collaborate with law enforcement to prevent crime with the most advanced technology serving security accessible by any person with a mobile phone? A community can now share video clips and data within conversation threads that can help identify potential threats in the vicinity. Video and data sharing settings with anonymous setting option. A follow me feature that provides digital surveillance from point A to B. A panic button that alerts Central Police directly in case of an emergency while sharing location and personal medical data, and patrol ETA tracking for families to know the live location of the dispatched patrol. Imagine the result of having millions of families connected via cutting-edge technology, data analytics, and intelligence, all with the same purpose, giving our families a safer world.
Okay. This case, okay, let's not action movie made by Hollywood. Okay, it's a real case made by our partner in US and Mexico. This system is a so-called hybrid system, including cloud, edge server, and our edge AI camera. As we all know, a lot of high crime rate is always a pain point in some of the Latin American countries. People facing a lot of crime threat in everyday life. So our partner built this system, and it did help to drop about 40% of the crime rates. Now let me move to the next page for deeper explanation. In this cloud plus edge AI camera system, we use edge AI camera, which made by Ability, to detect the first event, such like weapon detection, vehicle identify, and the car plate light recognition, and the face recognition. After the camera finishes the data collecting, it will send the metadata to edge server, and then the server will collaborate with the management system on the cloud and take immediate reaction. And this system also provide a mobile phone app to the user, so they can call help by the mobile app when they're facing a crime threat. In next page, I'm going to make more detailed explanation. In this system, we use Wi-Fi 6 to connect the whole devices. And the system provides user a mobile app with many useful functions, such like follow me. This feature provides a real-time surveillance during his journey. The connected AI camera on the street can trace the whole route to ensure the user is safe. The system also provides a panic button for user to call help when he needs help from police. And furthermore, the system also allows the user to custom his own video and the data sharing to the necessary person. In overall, this AI system provides people a safe life in the city and reduce the crime rate as well. Now let's move to the next case. Okay, the second case I'm going to share is a smart traffic intersection. This is a system we work together with our Malaysia partner, and I'm going to show you the detail. Okay, as we all know, in a lot of cities in the world, traffic jam problem always bothers you and me, especially in Southeastern Asia. According to the report, that people need to spend more than 1 hour for their traffic time, which means every day we're gonna to spend more than 2 hours to the office and then back home. In order to reduce the everyday traffic time, we work together with our partner to develop this system. We have compared the people who do not use any system, or they use Google Map and use our AI traffic control system. As you can see the result from the graphic. The gray one here is people who do not use any system. The blue one is people use the Google Map indication, and the green one is the people use ours. So you can see the people use our system in green. In those green dots shows that they can spend much less time than the other two. Okay, now next to the next. Okay, in this system, we also use Edge AI Camera Plus cloud collaboration system. We put 4 AI camera on the corner, on the street corner, to catch the information of car plate, vehicle type, moving direction, and car quantity. The camera then will send this metadata to Edge server, and after that, the server will communicate with the management system to control the traffic sign direction. And this will provide the most optimized traffic sign management to reduce the traffic jam. Okay, now let's move to the next page. Yeah, this page you can see in the live video, which is captured from our monitoring system. You can watch the whole street from the map and the real-time video of the street. In the video, you can see we identify the vehicle in the street, and the live data can help a lot to reduce the traffic hour. Okay, so you can see the car. You can see we identify what type of the car, what is the moving direction of the car, and what type of the car. Okay, next. Now let's go to the next. Okay, the last case I'm going to show is an electric vehicle charging system. There are four major components in this project: spark plug and the sensor, smart charging system, which is APP, and the energy management system, and our edge AI camera. In next page, I will make more detailed explanation. Okay, here, as we know that the electric vehicle now is getting more and more popular. But the problem here in Taiwan is charging station is always not enough. Most of the people do not have charging station at their home. So even that, they need to find a charging space, and some of the parking lot they provide the specified charging space for electrical vehicle with charging system. But unfortunately, it happens often. The full car will always occupy those charging part space. In order to resolve the problem, our partner work with us to build this smart charging system. In next slide, let me explain in detail. In this system, we use our AI camera to identify the plate type. And here, I think that the electric car and the regular fuel car, the car plate type and the numbers, they are different. By our edge AI camera, we can identify if that's a regular fuel car or it's an electric vehicle car plate. Only the car plate being recognized as electric vehicle car, then the gate will be lower, will be activated. And after that, after the car completed his charging and pay for the bill, then he left the charging space and the gate will be raised up again. Also, we also provide app that can provide the reservation. So if you drive on the street and you found you may not have enough power, then you can find the nearest charging station from the app and provide you a reservation function, so you can find the most close charging station which is available. Okay, let's move to the next page. Okay, after that, I'm going to show that's all about the three cases I'm sharing today. And now please allow me to spend a little bit time to introduce a little bit about ability. Okay, we Ability was founded in 1965, and we have over 20 years camera OEM ODM experience. There are over 300 engineers in the company, and we provide the hardware, software, mechanical, and optical design service. And then now we also provide the AI solution, work together with our partner. In the past 20 years, we produced more than 100 million unit camera to the world. And we provide both in Taiwan and China manufacturing service to our customer. As we all know AI will be the future trend, so we work together with Intel and as as their Edge AI partner, become their ODM partner to promote the Edge AI ecosystem together. Okay. And next page, I'm going to talk a little bit about Edge AI. Today, I think, just like LILIN Steve is also talking about the Edge AI. And today, we both talked about a lot of Edge AI camera. And you may ask why, what's the benefit of the Edge AI camera? The first one, I think, is the real-time data processing. You don't have to upload to the cloud or server to run the AI. And so you can also save a lot of labor and the monitoring the system and you can save a lot of operating cost and the laboring cost. And furthermore, Edge AI also allowed you to run a local intranet system, which provide a better privacy to the user. And the last one, Edge AI also can help to reduce a lot of bandwidth due to most of the time, the Edge AI camera only need to provide metadata to the cloud. You don't have to upload your stream all the time. So I think that's the Edge AI camera benefit. Okay, now let's move to the next. Yeah, in our Edge AI camera, we provide a well-defined AI framework and the SDK to our customer, which can allow you to deploy your own AI software if you have. The SDK is based on Intel OpenVINO toolkit, so the customer can easily find the AI software from the Intel OpenVINO ecosystem. It's also okay if you don't have own AI software, you can work together with us and our partner to create a total solution. Yeah, if you are interested to know more about our camera or ability, please feel free to contact us. Thank you. That's about my presentation today.
Thank you, Jonny. Stay on the line with us. I'll now invite our other panelists to join us for the Q&A session. We have a few interesting questions from the audience. Patrick, Steve? Hello. So the first question is for Patrick. When you look at the current generation of AI solutions, how is it different compared to the previous generations of the video analytics that you mentioned?
I think that there are some difference. The older generations, when it started with the VA technology, a lot of it did not have a very good learning ability. You know, they were pretty much very rigid rules that is being set up, and there was no once you set it up and that's it. You know, you don't have a lot of you don't even have a very short growth path. It's a very too narrow and very narrowly built type of device or even server. And one big thing is the resources needed nowadays. You know, as the two good speakers have said, you know, now a lot of it is on the chip itself and also on the device itself. It's so much easier to deploy. In the past, you would literally have to get a server just to power up a few camera itself and to do very, very simple type of analytics. So right now, definitely the ability and the potential to grow is a lot better.
I see. So in terms of improvement, where did you see the most improvement in your current projects compared to previous legacy projects? Is it in cutting down costs, manpower costs, in time until the solution is operational? I think
the ease, cutting down costs is always a big part of the customer's concern. Now we have a much shorter time from design to deployment, and then much easier to see results. You know, in the past, you know, maybe the technology is not so stable. It's very difficult to tell people to let people see the result. Now it's very straightforward. You know, you can see the result immediately. You can save money from that by either the replacement of a security guard or a replacement of a lot of other devices that one AI-powered solution would be able to do. You know, so definitely in all that aspect, and also one thing that people don't always talk about is that peace of mind. You know, that peace of mind. Once you deploy a good solution that is AI powered, it's literally 24/7. You know, it is not just in the past a camera that's down there that's either beeping all the alarm messages all the time with no filtering and no intelligence at all, or it is just acquiring a lot of data and just storing it, that nobody's looking at it. Now it's very intelligent, you know. So when I get an alarm right now, I know that it's being flagged by AI system. It's a lot more sophisticated. It's learning every time that it flags out things, and then that would be something that I need to pay attention to, you know, and not just another false alarm. So that is very important for the customer, and especially for a service provider like us that provides the service.
I see. Steve, before I come to the questions that were asked for LILIN, what is your point of view about the leap, the change in technology from the old school video analytics to today AI-powered VA?
Yes, as mentioned by Patrick, before the IVS technology caused a lot of false alarm. But right now with AI, it helps a lot for reducing the false alarm. I think that give us a lot of help for a false alarm improvement.
I see.
Yeah.
So we have one question from the audience. Does LILIN provide AI-based cameras that can analyze human behavior, such as smoking?
Oh, that's a good question. People, as mentioned by Patrick, people getting more and more imagination for solutions. So people starting to be creative. However, we do not provide the smoking solution yet. But one interesting application people mentioned about trash can detection. So they wanted to see if the trash can is full or not. So this more specific implementation, we're getting more. I hope that within near future, we are going to provide a solution for you. Yeah, thank you.
And for example, if somebody wants you to detect people smoking, generally speaking, how long will be the training time for such a project?
Okay, the process for provide the solution, first of all, we are going to collect at least 3,000 pictures, having people smoking. At least 3,000 pictures from, nowadays it's getting better to acquire those information. And then you need about 1,000 for people not smoking. So, and then we train the engine for about 3 weeks. And then we are able to provide solution for smoke detection. That's the process now. So the complaint about people is not, they wanted to become a wide open view. They want to use the camera as wide as possible. So for that information, it's very difficult to detect smoking or non-smoking. So that's my answer. Thank you.
No, it's very interesting. Good. And Jonny, I have a few questions for Ability.
Okay.
In parking management, does your app also help people find their car in case they forgot where they parked it?
Basically, we can do that, but in this system, we do not provide that because we are more focused on vehicle car plate identification. I think that in all the parking system, we can provide this kind of function. That's no problem because we use the AGI, so you can recognize the car plate and the location if we have the map in the distance.
Okay. And another question, this one is for all panelists. Can your AI products be used to monitor COVID-related cases? Do you have any implementations or use cases that you can talk about?
Oh yes, we do have one case which is used for the workspace safety. Okay, that one we provide the mask detection if the label, the construction label, he did not wear the mask, then the gate will not be opened. This is what we already done with our partner, and in that case, we beyond this, we also provide the helmet and the mask and the face, and also the seat belt, the belt detection.
I see. Patrick, is there, from your clients, is there a lot of demand for COVID-related solutions? What kind? Occupancy management, face mask detection? What do people want the most?
I want to just address just now. Yes, the answer is yes. We have a lot of such requirements, but I want to link that question to just now what Steve has a request for the smoking detection. So when we were designing some of this and working with our partners to detect input AI into some of these solutions, often we ask the customers that we run through a few scenarios with the customers, because we don't want to jump into training AI to look out for something straight away, because the entire problem solving process doesn't straight jump into technology. It comes with before that. For example, just now like the smoking one is that, do you have a situation, do you create a situation whereby when people are aware of it, they could easily defeat the AI system? Then that would sort of make it very easy for you to spend a lot of money, and then for somebody to just hide their hand away or just turn away from the camera, and then defeats the technology. So same thing coming back to the COVID. We had a lot of solution running in the last 2 years, and initially it was all about fever. Fever detection. We've been using the thermal and then linking up with the mask wearing and then the facial recognition and things like that. What we have now progressed on is that we have talked to customers, and then we are working on things like, for example, vaccination is going to be a very big part of the process going forward. And whether is it in traveling, whether is it going into facilities, whether is it going to a mall, to the office, vaccination seems to be a status that would help or would have to be considered. So how do you extract that information from the customer side, if they are willing to give out that private information, to be part of the access control process, and for AI to take over and try to combine all the needed information? Where was his last location? Where was he last in the office? Is he going to a place whereby it is going to be sensitive? Is he experiencing, does he have high fever? And does he look like, he has behave and other behavior stuff that will link together and be able to learn, and then including extracting other information from the official sources to change the rules as we go around. For example, right now, if the authority has recently banned a certain, just over the last hour has declared a particular mall that has an outbreak, and then this person just over the last hour is now going back to your office. So if your system is able to pick it up easily, scan through everything, and then we be able to reject the person from coming in because you've just been to that place. So these are some of the things that we are talking to the customers on. It's all about getting the data and learning the pattern of things as far as dealing with COVID.
I see. So we have time for two last questions. These two last questions are more technical about edge devices. The first question is from the Philippines. Is internet bandwidth a factor in the successful implementation of AI? Because here in the Philippines, we have a weak internet connection. And the second question about the edge devices, is about updating them. How can you update existing installed AI edge AI cameras if there are new improvements or better modules? Maybe we start with Steve. So the first question is how important is good internet connectivity for edge AI devices?
Okay, the benefit for edge AI is that we only recognize, so the AI process inside the SoC, the chipset. So once we analyze, we provide two text-based message. What happened and the what. So we will provide, if we recognize the car turn left, we will tell them, okay, left turn violation and the car. So which is much better for, you will not chunk a big bandwidth. So I think that's the solution you are looking for.
I see. And the second question, Mr. Wu, about updating of the edge devices. One of the advantages of a centrally managed system is you update only one system and everything is updated. In edge devices, the burden of maintenance and updating each one, how is that possible to solve?
Oh yeah, I think that this is also can be resolved by with so-called OTA. We can open the air. If you have a new algorithm or you have a new software update, you can run by the central system. Of course, it depends. Some people they don't want to have the vendor or the service provider to update for them. They can update by themselves. They want to update by themselves because they want to manage them by themselves. But in this edge AI camera, that they provide the OTA function, so people that they can update from the air.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay, our time is up. I'd like to thank you all for joining me today, the speakers and the attendees. I learned a few very interesting things. We will be sharing a recording of this webinar to everybody. So if you want to revisit it later on at home, or if you didn't make it to watch the whole hour, you only watch the beginning, you can later on watch it. We'll be sharing it with you in the next few days. And if you have any questions to me or to one of our panelists, you can always drop me an email and I'll make sure that somebody contacts you. Thank you, speakers. Thank you, listeners. And I hope to meet all of you live soon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Done.